Okay, hello everybody. I am going to introduce Charlene Stevens. Charlene Stevens earned a BA in art history at UCLA before studying art education and photography at CSULA and film and photographic studies at the University of Leiden. Upon her return to the United States, Ms. Stevens founded a digital art publication Arcade Project in 2016. Last year, she launched a nomadic contemporary art gallery, Arcade Project Curatorial, during the height of the pandemic. Ms. Stevens is a contributor at hyperallergic.com, Foam magazine, and the Art newspaper. Her collaborative photographic works with performance artist Jody Lee Kee Chow are currently on exhibition at the Wing Luke Museum in Seattle. Ms. Stevens lives and works in New York. Charlene.
Hello, welcome everyone. And I would like to introduce this week's guest, Ricardo, I'm going to mess up, Murray.
You got it.
Robinson's works attend to patterns and forms in sound and space, using deep listening techniques and reproduction technologies for engaging sonic influences and reforming social self-awareness. He calls this artistic project sonarchaeology, a creative art practice merging improvisational listening with environmental archaeology. By way of this method, the art attempts to re-listen to the interrelationships between sound and shape, sonic information, and sonic place, or what he calls the ancestry of sound. Welcome, Ricardo and Murray Robinson.
It's good to be here. Hi, Charlene.
Hi, thank you for joining us. And I just wanted to get into like how we came together.
Yes.
And I think it's also relevant to, yesterday was the anniversary of, George Floyd's, the killing of George Floyd.
Yeah.
And at that time, the La'Vender Freddy project, that Instagram, the first, and we'll play the video in a moment, and it, like everybody was, on lockdown, and then there were black boys and men getting shot like almost every week.
Right.
And there was something about the statement, there are Black people in the future.
Yes.
That was just self-affirming.
Yes.
And defiant, because it looked like that they were trying to exterminate us.
I could see how that could be perceived. Yes.
and to me, I just, with all these people dying, it was like, we are here. We are here. And also I have a thing with, we can go into things like futurism and there is no race in space, and there's another. I can read it in so many ways. But let's play that first video that went viral on Instagram that had been passed around among my friends, colleagues. And this is how I first became, and it's the one with the boombox. And it just showed when Black boys and men were dying, I saw like just Black boy joy, a Black man joy. but that was, so I don't, and do you have any of the tracks available?
I do. The persona La'Vender Freddy released an album last year, an entire album. I think it was July 2020 on the 20th. I released a 15 track album, and you can find that on like Bandcamp, and it's also streaming on the various music platforms such as Spotify or iTunes and things like that. So I went the distance with this persona, with this character, and really created a pretty vast archive of music. Music, yes. How long did it take for that video to reach you? Because I think you hit me up. I think you came through the DM like, "Hey, who the heck are you?"
It was a while.
Yeah.
And gosh, I wish we could play this. I don't know if we can do it. Do you have it, Ricardo?
Let me see.
I know this is last minute, but then I'll keep talking. Well, I was working on co-curating Current Undercurrent.
Yes.
It was an online show at University of Massachusetts Amherst Hampton Gallery.
Okay.
And talking about the current, I didn't want to just have what would have been just like painting, sculpture.
Yes. Yes.
And even, I wanted to have things like video. I wanted things that were going viral. I wanted, and this was something that was passed around. I know the Black art world, like everybody was sharing these videos, especially this one.
Yeah.
And I really wanted them to be part of the exhibition. I wanted to make it a little, I was trying to make something a little more interesting, a little more, when they said current, I really wanted to make it current.
Yes. Well, I definitely have to thank Amanda Seals for sharing this video on her platform, as well as Jill Scott, Kadeem Hardison, Hill Harper. And those are certain entertainers that have just wide platforms and attract a lot of attention. And for this particular art piece to reach them and resonate with them, in order for them to even want to consider it, hosting it on their platform, I felt very, very grateful. But in order for something like this to even come about, so many components have to be in play. The song uses a sample from Dr. Martin Luther King. So it's kind of like, when I first came across the video, it was being presented by an online Instagrammer, iMarquise, and it was hot. It was already a hot video. I think he composed some from remixing DJ Gold, Marvin Sapp sample, never would have made it. So it was like, never would have made, never. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's hot. So I'm like, damn, I need to find this original video and see like what was going on during this time. Why are all these kids, with boomboxes on their head and just moving through the street in this very celebratory way? And I find the original video on YouTube. And yes, it was a part of a jukebox challenge that was going on. And yeah, there's some information about it. But
we're hoping this will play better on Instagram.
I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you. Black people in the future. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing anything. Mine eyes have seen glory. People in the future. Black people in the future.
So what's interesting is when you come across a video, when I come across a video, I love to spend time in the comments and see how it's resonating with people. And in this particular video, it just spoke to me on so many levels of just hope, of keeping a movement going, moving through dark spaces or heavy spaces with a kind of carefree expression, like I don't give a damn what's going on around me. We are totally present in this celebration, in this performance, in this expression. And I looked at the video and I was just like, I was already familiar with Alicia B. Wormsley's text that has swept the nation. There are Black people in the future. So there's all of these components, and I created a song, with that title. And in order for something such as this to do as well as it did, to me, it's all about the timing. Like the George Floyd had to occur. And this is messed up. This is where it gets really heavy. Martin Luther King had to, go through what he went through as on his human journey. So it's hard to grapple with. Certain horrors are inspiring, certain destruction and certain horrors are inspiring the creative spirit and the celebratory spirit. And it's a very interesting dance between light and shadow, a very interesting dance between gravity and levity, joy and pain. It's always all there. And I think with any Black expression right now, be if it comes across as celebrating Black joy or rebel joy, it's coming from, it's responding to a kind of gravity. It's responding to a kind of despair or destruction. So as an artist, it's been very interesting to navigate through or be selective as far as what am I going to allow my art to react to? How long will my art react to whiteness? How long will my art react to classism? How long will my art react to racism? So even if I were to be a painter or just a singer and wanting to create things for myself, it exists in a context that politicizes it, that institutionalizes it, that takes certain human expressions and inserts them into personal agendas. I'm going on here, but it's a very interesting field of how culture is produced, or how moments or art like such as this is produced, that all of it had to be in a certain place in order for it to resonate, in order for it to be heard, in order for people to be like, I want to share this. And yeah, my finite mind cannot cover the territory of what all needs to be in place in order for something to resonate with
Well, I think this had a healing. You know,
Yeah.
it had, there was something about um, being, you know, the pandemic,
right,
the racial violence, you know, the state-sponsored violence,
right.
that it was just, it just like for a moment we would hit your Instagram or someone would share your video and we would just be like, oh, you know, just some, it was just a moment of just a little moment. Now I have a feeling, I have a feeling the reason why we can't hear the videos is that we all have to probably mute.
Okay.
Because Zoom, I think, will pick up like whatever. Yeah. So
yeah,
I do want to play a little. I want to mute 1 second. I want to see if we can get this once.
Yeah.
There was something healing, you know, there was a healing thing about seeing Black boys and men just carefree in the middle of the street. And then and we have 3 more of these because I expect, how about the one, we could run through them. I'm going to mute again just because I want to, there were different videos with this song and I just love them all.
Okay, I'm muting again.
Me too.
And I see the promised land. I may not get there with you. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing anything. Mine eyes have seen glory.
I love this, another manifestation of joy, just like how she, I mean, you have anything to add about the Josephine Baker one? Just another.
Yeah. To me, that is bridging time periods. And all of it, when you recycle media, you could shoot, you can do anything really. But my intention is to amplify a particular scene that we're all perceiving, be if it's a young lady in the street demonstrating and protesting, be if it's an old film with Josephine Baker in it that is expressing a kind of liberation to me, even if the movie is not about liberation. It's really finding those pieces of media and applying your own spin, applying your own personal propaganda in order to amplify it to reach a certain, yeah, to carry out a certain agenda. And that agenda clearly for me was to create a series of videos that inspired joy, hope, resilience, yeah, creative expression. And it did really well, you know, with such a self-affirming title or text as there are Black people in the future. It stands, it's so strong that it's not reacting to anything. It's self-affirming. So anybody that takes offense to a statement such as that, then it shows more about themselves and what they're going to through and how they're reacting to certain life, really. So yeah. It's all
I
about.
found it also, you know, when, you know, there was, you know, the Star Trek Discovery, and at first, like, people were getting bent out of shape with Shaniqua Barton.
Okay.
You know, it's like we had a, you know, we had a Black female lead, and it just made me think of also, because I love futurism and Afrofuturism, and there's been, you know, there's been a lot of sometimes backlash, like, you know, to casting, you know, like people didn't imagine novels, you know, like what was the Hunger Games, when they couldn't imagine, you know, well, he wasn't Black in my head, you know.
Right.
And, you know, and it's just like, and readers were like just filling it in with, like, white readers were just filling in every character with white people.
Indeed.
And they cast a Black person, they lost their minds, and like, and just like, and tried to destroy this little girl.
Right.
But I also want to look at the next two.
Yeah.
Because this is where we really get into protest.
Okay.
And you know, the first two I found, like, you know, the joy, finding those little moments of joy through all, you know, that shine through all the pain, which I think that, I mean, when I see you know, when I hear about my history, I mean, that's pretty much a lot of, like, you know, a lot of Black people's family history is finding joy through, you know, through adversity, like just finding those moments and being able to you know, and be able to hold on to them and you know, and have that resilience.
Yes.
But I love these two, which are just, you know, have that kind of, you know.
I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you.
Black people in the future.
So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing anything. Mine eyes have seen through.
And I was worried about getting that one into the show, because I was warned by my co-curator that Hampton Gallery was quite conservative, and we just put it in there and said, well, let's just see. And thank goodness they put it in. And I remember talking to you about this because I was worried about, you know, getting censored and getting
Absolutely.
And well, I remember you had a really good like, you had a lot to flesh that out.
I knew that as an artist, I had a responsibility with this young lady's image, with this young person's image, because of the system that we live in, you know, in understanding the patriarchy, understanding the sexism, understanding the objectification, and am reading the comments of this video that was also attracting a lot of attention, I came across a lot of comments that said, you know, she's setting us back. What is this, you know, coonery, buffoonery? You know, this isn't doing us any you know, this isn't going to bring about justice. What is all of this? And for me, when I see a certain amount of people of color, you know, feeling as though, you know, this is misrepresentative of a struggle toward, you know, equality and equity and liberation. Uh, I feel it is my duty and responsibility as an artist to well, in this particular video, I was just like, I have to uh I have to use this video in in this sort of theme of there are Black people in the future, because for me, I saw an incredible protest, and I wrote something that I cannot recite at the moment, um, but it was kind of like this ghost dance. It was very similar to a dance that you know, only in modern times, the times that we're living in, there's such a limited vocabulary of perceiving this expression. But it, to me, it felt so mystical. It felt so shamanic. It felt so indigenous. It felt so fiery. It felt like uh, invincible and undefeated, you know, and it didn't give a care about, you know, your steel or your red, white, and blue lights. It didn't give a shit about your coxmanship or your, you know, your machismo. It didn't give a shit about that sort of artillery. It brought the water, it brought the fire, it brought something that was very, very close to the earth, the rhythm of the earth, as we can get, even though the earth has been, you know, smothered with concrete. It kind of transcended all of that for me as a viewer, and I felt, you know, I need to I need to amplify this moment, you know, because it's incredible.
Yeah, and it was just like this feminine power against all of that
Yeah.
armory. Yeah, it was just there was just something with the contrast. Just and yeah, I loved her, and I'm so glad they were able to, you know, that they they unclutched their pearls and let us, you know, include that in the show.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And then, but La'Vender Freddy isn't only, you know, there are Black people in the future.
Yes.
Even though I can sing that every day.
Yeah.
Can we go to some of the still images?
The photo bombs, the time traveling.
The photo bombs.
Yes. That's me field recording on a beautiful, beautiful autumnal day.
Where is this?
Allegheny Forest, Pennsylvania.
Ah.
Yeah.
I have to get more familiar with your state. And then the black and white ones, Esmé?
That was upstate New York. Oh, okay, these.
Oh, where you have inserted yourself in. La'Vender Freddy has inserted himself into.
Yes.
Archive. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, we can scroll through, and then so La'Vender Freddy's been everywhere, and has met everyone.
Yes. So, how did this even come about?
Is this Cindy Sherman? This reminds me. This is the Cindy Sherman one, right?
That's Richard Roundtree, I think.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I was thinking of it was reminding me of the, you know, Cindy Sherman's early work, but yeah. This is more of like the black exploitation.
For sure.
Okay.
I love the flag in the background. I love it that it's in front of the Apollo, and it also it kind of hints at a classic sci-fi film called They Live. Where
was it people?
Say that again.
Not the
Yes,
people?
when you put on the sunglasses, you could actually see the truth of the various advertisements in the culture telling you to obey, or yeah, just all of these various truths are revealed once you put on sunglasses. So yes, I wanted to play with media history and time travel, because we are living in a time where Photoshop is very impressive, and let's say we're living in a digital environment, and when you're living in a digital environment, everything, all information can be manipulated, all images, all sound, um, all media can be manipulated. So La'Vender Freddy, I wanted to use this persona to be able to travel into these spaces, these various historical medias, and reconsider the narrative. Be if it's Martin Luther King on the Lorraine Motel balcony, having a conversation with Muhammad Ali, um, also inserting La'Vender Freddy into a Wizard of Oz uh, imagery. All of it is to just make us aware, or just become more aware of the information that we are digesting, the information that we are taking in every day, and that there is thought behind the shaping of the media. um and there are certain, yeah, there's an art war going on. There's a serious art war going on, and what I mean by that, that there's certain creators um, maintaining, guarding certain narratives that allow power to exist in certain groups. Um, and when those narratives are challenged, which I think all of the narratives need to be reconsidered, and I think people need to own their own histories and do the due diligence, do what you can to find the other voices that have been buried. uh, this this spectacle of La'Vender Freddy traveling through this media history is just to kind of play with it a little bit, have a little bit of fun, but there is a lot of intentionality. There's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of seriousness uh, to the information that I create or produce. And I
So
just,
are you referring to, I call it the Confederacies coming back and trying to rewrite history.
mhm,
Like we're beginning to tell our own stories, and they're trying to like make it illegal. Like I'm looking at like who's the woman who got the Pulitzer Prize for the 1619 project, then didn't get tenure because
right,
she upset someone's sensibilities.
right.
Or
Um,
or Texas, where they're just making textbooks of anything they want to believe, but it's like there's a big war on truth, and who
yes,
gets to control
for
the
sure.
narrative, who gets to at one time we only had one group being able to write history,
Yes.
and now that we are contributing to and fleshing out this history, people are getting mad because I think it's because no one wants to look like the villain, even though if you can't own your stuff, and then we can't move on
Mhm.
unless not you can't be the hero all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. It's a big topic. It's a big subject. And to even consider, it's even okay. So you mentioned a movement of the Confederacy trying to, hold on to their status or their histories and things of that nature. But it also bleeds over into scientific narratives. It also bleeds over into religious text. It also bleeds over into political histories. There are so many, voices of authority that claim a kind of authority, or that produce an official story, and use that type of language, saying this is the official history, or this is the official story. This is what happened, and that's a very dangerous claim, because I know it's very hard for me to even write my own history, let alone thinking I can write a history for a neighborhood, a city, a country, an entire world. So I just encourage uh, critical thinking, to engage in with the information. Don't be passive with it. Have a conversation with the information that you're taking in. Slow down, pause, and because it's going to keep coming at us. It's going to keep coming at us from all different angles, and yeah, it's creating perceptions. At times, I feel when I go out into the public, people can't see each other because they can only see the media image, the media portrayal of each other. And when you go into certain spaces, it's just like they think that I'm CNN. They think that I'm Fox News. They think that I'm on this team. They think, everybody's kind of just like, it's eggshells and delicate, and yeah, it's interesting. But there were a lot of there's a lot of mask wearing before mandates even came about. There's a lot of things that we need to uncover, and
Yeah.
a lot of official stories that we need to challenge and reconsider. And I'm trying to do that with the sunscreen conspiracy, and just bring about old media to just let's re-listen to what Joe Biden said in 1981, in support of Israel during what we're going through currently, and let's re-listen to Harriet Washington speaking about medical apartheid, and the various experiments that they have done on Black people, and what makes us so reluctant to just jump in line and say, yes, I believe you. I trust your medicine. I trust that you are all about healing, and you understand mind, body, soul connection. And this is going to really cure me and keep me safe. Like, let's revisit some of the things that made us not trust you. Let's revisit some of the things that that made you assume you have supremacy or authority, and let's tear all of that down.
Yeah, and I wonder, so I wonder if we could like pull up a sunscreen conspiracy there, but this is a daily, you're doing a video every day.
Yeah.
So are you tired? Are you exhausted?
Yes. Yes.
And it's a lot of work just to put a show on every week, but I couldn't imagine like putting doing a fresh video every day.
Yes.
And I look at some of these old videos and people, and I look at how my narrative was distorted growing up, because I'm old. I grew up in, I was
70s. Come on.
Yeah, the 70s. Yes, I grew up in the 70s. And with Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes.
ABC after school specials.
Yes.
And Soul Train, but just the narratives that were just thrust upon me when I was developing my own sense of self were so twisted.
It's terrorism. It's psychological terrorism. Yes, and one of the reasons why I wear the wig is because it's to me it's kind of like a helmet. It's like equip your mind to protect your mind, like really care for what's going in. So yes, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh no. And also, if anyone has a question, In the reactions part at the bottom, you can raise your hand and also add something to the chat. But I wonder, is there anything we can see from Sunscreen Conspiracy? I think we just have to make sure everyone's muted. I'm so sorry about, I got to streamline the, get this figured out with this video on Zoom, because it just wants to pick up the loudest sound.
Yeah, I mean, the Sunscreen Conspiracy, every month it starts off with a clip from Marvin Gaye, because the work is in response to Marvin Gaye's 1971 studio album, What's Going On. That's a very important part of the art project, only because it anchors it anchors all of us into this point of departure. Like this is the seed of why I'm posting all of these various media clips, and all of them could be considered a sort of dot to be connected to painting or bringing a sort of answer into focus of what's going on. So the Sunscreen Conspiracy has invited voices such as Dr. Von Sertima, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Ruha Benjamin, has taken from James Baldwin's, Nikki Giovanni, a lot of TED Talks where people such as Rupert Sheldrake is speaking about the scientific delusion. Even, Joe Biden, saying, Joe Biden has showed up 3 times.
Did he get on with the busing too?
When he's speaking to Charlemagne the God, saying, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. Like, if you still got to think about it, you ain't black. I'm like, damn.
I know, right? I mean, I knew what he meant, but it just that did not come out well. We have a question from Katara Peterson, who was our guest last week.
Yes,
Katara, unmute yourself, Katara. Let's hear what you have. Hey,
this is lovely so far. Thanks for sharing. My question, and this is, I guess, kind of straightforward considering all of the things that you've already given us in terms of your practice, but I come from a painting background, and that's my jam. That's what I get down on. And so I think a lot about color. Yeah. And I'm wondering what significance the color lavender holds for you, in terms of why that was chosen for, the name of the La'Vender Freddy project and the lavender wig, and, even the hat that you're wearing. And, I have my own presumptions about, what it could indicate in terms of a soothing or a calm or the botanical or what, but I don't know. And so I was just, as I'm thinking about color so much, I was just curious as to why.
Yes. First and foremost, congratulations on all of your success. You're an incredible artist. And I actually sat down with your voice today, watching the talk that you did last week with Charlene. Incredible work. Everybody that's on this feed, check out her work. Love what you're doing with texture, color, all of it. And I don't even want to call it the Guernica piece, but you know which one I'm talking about. Powerful. So with that said, the La'Vender story is not as exciting as I would hope for it to be. But so the story goes quickly. I'm working on sound installation after returning from South Africa. I wanted to record, I picked up some mining sounds in South Africa and wanted to create a sound installation piece about blind materialism. So I wanted to get mining sounds and kind of address the marginalization that we as consumers have, and especially within the hip hop culture, really in pursuit of materialistic wealth or fashion, don't know where these sources or riches or resources are coming from in everything that happens in order to make you bling, to make you shine. And I think we as a people need to really start creating a directory of our local farmers or the people that are extracting the resources in order for us to create our paints and our sounds and our art. You know, we need to be connected to that extraction process. But okay, make a longer story shorter. I'm frustrated with this piece. I come out of the museum, I get in the car, I'm like, damn, Ricardo, you're so damn serious. God damn, you're just serious. You're too serious. And I see my daughter's wig, Halloween wig, in the back seat of the car. And I got a pretty big head. And I'm like, I just want to look at myself a little different today. So I reach back in the back of the car and I put the wig on, and I pick up my phone and I take a selfie after I straighten the bangs out a little bit, you know, and then I post it immediately to my Facebook page and I say, y'all ain't ready for La'Vender Freddy. I don't know where that name came from, but after I created that name, the next thing I know, I'm making a shit ton of music for this persona. I'm dancing out in the streets doing a dance called dance jogging. And I'm just like, I'm going to go with this because if I feel good. You know, it makes me feel good with all of the things that are advertised about the various shades of blackness in America and what goes on here. I needed to find a healing space for me, and something that, even though there's seriousness to La'Vender Freddy, the La'Vender Freddy project, when I'm out there dancing and making these videos and stuff like that, there's such a joy for sure, and that's how it came about. And I understand that, you know, lavender is. I love the smell. I love the fragrance. I do wear the oil at times. I may even smoke some lavender every now and again. But yes, that's how La'Vender Freddy came about.
That is brilliant. And I love how the sort of levity of that story ties full circle into that first video clip that we're seeing about how, you know, there are Black people in the future and just like the Black boy joy, you know, yeah. And also, yeah, I think that simplicity and joy are wonderful ways to access a practice. And yeah, no, that's very satisfying. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
And I love the punctuation, like when you just made it black, like lavender.
Yes.
That just tickled me. So, and thank you, Katara. My goodness.
Yes, thank you.
Love you. Thank you for coming. And just, what's your daughter feel about you stealing her wig?
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for her because she's at that age now where she's just like embarrassed. I'm like, when did this shit happen? Like,
Dad's dancing in the street in the wig.
But she did film the first 2 La'Vender Freddy videos, so I give her that you know, she put up with me on those productions. Yes.
And I think, are there any other questions? Because we're about to, I think we're almost, well, we have a little more time for questions, but I also just want to remind everybody, the La'Vender Freddy on Instagram is amazing. Like, it's like, definitely follow La'Vender Freddy. You will get something dropping every day. You can catch up with There Are Black People in the Future. It's like, yeah. And also the other ones, I forgot the one that was the jogging one. I mean, it's a good time, and it also is a consciousness raiser. Yeah. And I can't believe you had all these celebrities. Yeah, because I guess I caught it when I think the celebrities were sharing it, and then my artist friends were sharing it.
It's very interesting to know that something hit. You know, something went viral. as this character, as this persona, and is creating a lot of joy and a lot of smiles. And then to know that I had a duty to do this sunscreen conspiracy thing, it was a very interesting uh uh in a way I felt like, oh, I'm sorry, y'all, things are about to get serious now, for all the ones that were attracted to Lavender just dancing in the street, even though I'd rather be the jester than the king. For all of those that were just attracted to that expression, the sunscreen conspiracy is not for them, and that's okay, because it's an incredible archive of various medias that I think provoke very, very interesting pauses for at least myself. And
now, we got DQ Grant, who says, "Bro,
my
are we gonna get some La'Vender Freddy music and videos? Should we try to do another? Try to play like we got there's the one with the protest, another protest one. Esmé, would it be easier? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Would it be easier to try to do this on the PDF or on Instagram?
Which video would you like?
The protest one, with the man's dancing with the...
Oh, okay. The Confederate flags behind.
Yes, because, I've been having some issues with Confederacy. If everybody can mute, and then it won't break up the audio. And let's, when you're ready, just unmute yourself and I'll...
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you.
People in the future.
So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing anything. Mine eyes have seen glory.
People in the future. People in the future.
I'm pretty sure everybody on the feed is familiar with the song, and but that particular video, it is this sort of it's like you could it's allowing someone to be who they are, even if that person expresses hate or racism, sexism. It's like you can wave your flag, you can carry your guns. I'm still going to be all right, and I'm going to be so all right that I'm going to dance in front of your protest, and even bow to you, and say thank you, for giving me this opportunity to perform in front of your, whatever this spectacle is, whatever you're trying to say here, it's an incredible video. Even though I think I can dance better than him.
Well, I think that takes away their power when, as guitar says, joy as resistance. Yes, totally. Because when you can't steal our joy, when we're not going to cry, we're just going to be like, well, there you are. We're just going to keep it moving,
It's very interesting what we allow ourselves to react to. Like, we can throw cookouts on a battlefield and have a good time, I know that my family has been able to throw cookouts during like the gang violence and certain times that happened in Pittsburgh where there was just like you know, Black Death, Black Death, Black Death, and not just within our local neighborhoods and our communities, but also on a national level and also on a global level or a worldwide level. There's so many layers and so many shades to things that could just like make us feel depressed and tired and not want to continue to wake up and do this again and to see these expressions of you know just life, and soulfulness and rhythm and connection, to being alive. It has to piss off anyone that's hating you.
Yeah, because they want to make us they want to make us live in fear, and and the last thing they want to see is us smiling or dancing or
Yeah.
or getting together and loving each other.
For sure.
And and the best revenge is living well, and the fact that we can get up and it's there's power in that, in being able to just still be able to find joy. And I thank you for bringing
Thank you.
that joy last, during the pandemic. You were a light in the darkness, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for allowing me to include your work in the in Current Undercurrent.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for coming today and tonight and sharing with us. And it's it's like a drop in the bucket of your practice too. I mean, there's so much more that
there is.
I mean, we just hit like the tip of the iceberg of Ricardo Robinson's practice. La'Vender Freddy's is one little chapter. So
if anyone's interested, you can go to sonarchaeology.com and see all of the various sound projects that I've created in the upcoming ones that I'm about to release. So yes, it's definitely, like Charlene said, a lot more than La'Vender Freddy, and but yes, La'Vender.
But we only had an hour, but let's do this again because there's so many other things. So please follow La'Vender Freddy on Instagram. I'm the Art Oprah. Yes. We do this every Wednesday. Yeah. And with the recording, I think we can add some stuff about the album.
Yes.
Just thank everyone for joining us. I really appreciate your support. And next week we're going to have some people from South Africa. So, yes. And let me see. We have one other person. Thank you. It was a good time. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, Charlene.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.